Parshat Va'era is the middle of the Parshios in Shemot, Va'era, Bo, B'Shalach, which deal with the story of the Jewish people in Mitzrayim in Egypt. And Parshat Va'era begins the Makos. It has 7 of the 10 plagues that Hashem put on the Mitzrayim. When we look at this Parsha, as well as all these Parshios, and we see how much time that the Torah spends recording the experiences of the Jews in Egypt, and how so many mitzvos are Zecher L'Tzia Mitzrayim, recalling the exodus from Egypt, it begs the question, why is there such an emphasis on this experience of the Jews in Egypt, that the Torah spends so much time on it, that we have so many mitzvos, the mitzvah every day to remember it, we have Pesach, we have Kiddush on Shabbos, over and over again, we were confronted with this story of Egypt. Why does it take up so much of our attention? And obviously there are many answers to respond to this question, but I'd like to try to take a different mahalach, a different approach today that I think is very, very powerful. And that will be the existential Exodus experience that is meaningful for each and every one of us, each and every moment of our lives. To be able to introduce this concept, there's a Gavaldic piece in Einei Yisrael Rav Belsky, where he points out something from the Haggadah that we're all familiar with, but the way he presents it is a tremendously powerful insight for which to guide and direct us in our study. And that is in source number 2. He says that we know in the Haggadah, Chazal compare the Makos that took place in Mitzrayim and then those that took place at the splitting of the sea. The Haggadah states, Kamalaku, with how many Makos were the Mitzrayim smitten at the sea? So the 10 plagues of Mitzrayim were delivered by an etzba, a finger. As the Chartumim, the magician, said, this is the finger of God. And at the sea it's written, and Yisrael saw the great hand. So if one finger represents 10 Makos, then 5 fingers of a hand must represent 50. The Mitzrayim were therefore smitten with 50 plagues at the sea. And that is then developed more in the Haggadah. But listen to the Gavaldic idea here. The comparison goes deeper. If a person wishes to strike or punish, he will use his hand. That is where his strength lies. However, if he wishes to teach or to demonstrate, a person will use his finger to point out the truth. This is the distinction between the plagues in Egypt and those at the sea. The Makos in Mitzrayim were the finger of God. They were meant to teach the Mitzrayim as well as the Jews, while at Kriyas Yamsuf, Hashem smote the Egyptians with his great hand in order to destroy them. My friends, this is the model that I'd like us to approach this parsha. That when we're dealing with the Makos, and the obvious question, as Einei Yisrael notes in source number 1, we've discussed at length in the past, what was the point of the Makos? The Mitzrayim didn't get the lesson, it took them 10 Makos. So was it for them? Was it for the Jews? Were the Jews supposed to understand something? Are we today supposed to understand something? And the answer is yes to all of the above. Because the Makos were not meant as a punishment as much as an instruction. And the fact that it was etzba, the finger of God, and the finger is the medium to teach, the mindset we need to understand in looking at the Makos and looking at the whole Egyptian experience in Egypt is that of a teaching experience. What were we supposed to learn? What was the lesson that was supposed to be given over? So the classic approach, which I'd like to mention, which is beautifully summarized in the Sefer Abida V'Bracha of Rafael Baruch Sorotskin, based on earlier Rishonim and Mefarshim, is that the Makos are divided up, as we know by Rabbi Yehuda, into 3 groups, Titzach, Adash, V'Achat. And here the Bina V'Bracha notes very, very clearly. He says in the first paragraph in 3, he says, Ulam Yisurim B'dei Shamayim. Anytime we get challenges, difficulties from the hand of God. Ba'olam hazeh, in this world, einam begeder onesh, they are not coming as a punishment. Rak kidei lavi et adam lidei tshuva, but rather they are here in order for us to come closer to Hashem. They're here in order for us to become better people. Again, this is that mindset of the etzba, the finger, and not the yad, that the makos are here to teach. And they're divided, as we mentioned, in Ditzach, Adash, V'achav, into three groupings. And if you look at the Chumash, the Klayakar points this out very clearly, that before each of the beginning of each of the series of makos, in Dam, in Arov, and in Barad, the Pasuk Beferish states what is the philosophical idea that Hashem wants to impart to the Mitzrayim as well as to the Jews. What is the lesson He's meant to teach? And they're best encapsulated, says the Bina Vabrocha, in the asterisks in 4. The three main lessons are encompassed in